Hey everyone, how's it going? This is actually my second time trying to record this and review this. I had my earbuds in, and apparently the audio just got completely wrecked. So I'll be kind of brief about this. First, I just want to address the fact that I tried to go ahead and pick up X-Men, the Grand Design, and fortunately they had the variant covers, and I was able to get it. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be sold out. Fortunately, the shipment got messed up at my comic book shop, so some of those variant covers didn't come out till this week. So that's probably the only reason why I got it, or was able to get it. I wanted to get that 2-in-1 with Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm. I heard a lot of good things about it, but it was sold out. Like I went there and I was talking to the guy working at the shop, and he was like, "Yeah, man, it sold out like that same day. I was sick, and the next day I came to work, they were gone." I was like, man, it's bad when the guy that works there can't even pick up the comic. But it actually makes me even more excited. So I asked one of the other guys there to put it on my pull list. So hopefully, when it gets a second printing, whenever that is, I'll be able to pick it up. I know by that time it'll be too late to review it, but who knows? Maybe I'll just kind of talk about it or post a tweet or something. But yeah, I'll go ahead and touch on a few things about this issue. I kind of had some concerns, just the way it ended, and I'll go ahead and address the first thing. The comedian is alive. There's no other guy dressing up as the comedian. It's the comedian who dies at the beginning of Watchmen in like the first issue. He dies in like the first couple panels. So the fact that he's alive, I'm trying to figure out how is that even possible. Did Dr. Manhattan somehow do some weird, I don't know, get the comedian from another Earth or something? I don't even know how that's possible, because he's even got the same scar on his face. I'm curious to see how they address that, because I was like, well, yeah, Rorschach wouldn't show up because he died, but I guess that logic doesn't play the same reasoning, because comedian's dead, and like he shows up. So hopefully they find a way to write that segment in a way where it makes sense and believable, because I can see a lot of people getting really ticked off. They're like, why is the comedian alive? That makes no sense. But ignoring that part, or just going away from that point, the majority of the story is just them trying to find Dr. Manhattan and save their world. You have this situation where, briefly at the beginning, you have the mime and it's Marionette breaking into this bank, and it's just standard things. They break in, subdue everybody, and the lady presses a panic button, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, this is a nice family, nice children you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to them." And out of nowhere, she says, "Oh no, I don't know how to get into the safe." And she looks at like her boss, and he like goes off on her. He's like, "You ratted me out. When this is over, you're fired." And he just starts like insulting her. And I'm first of all thinking like, how horrible of a human being do you have to be during like a bank heist to spend your time insulting somebody when your life's in danger? And he's like pointing the finger at her, and like she like slices hit the tip of his index finger, and you find out that it's the bank has a vault that's like got a palm print scanner. So she's like, oh man, I messed up. Well, which hand is it? And finds out it's the one that she cut. So they're trying to like figure out like, oh well, the whole thing's a bust. And out of nowhere, Dr. Manhattan shows up, which is pretty neat. His design's the same as it looked before. I'm glad they didn't change it. They kept it pretty consistent from the graphic novel. And you're like, oh, he's gonna like disintegrate them, right? And out of nowhere, she jumps in ways like, to kill Mime, you have to kill me. And he just looks at her and then disappears. So I don't know if like she's pregnant and that's why he doesn't do it. I think that's probably what it is, because you hear like a heartbeat and then you see a picture of a child. So I think that might be one of those deals where he's like puts two and two together. He's like, oh no, I'm not gonna kill an innocent child. So you don't know whether he just saved her just because he's not gonna take her out, or is it because of the kid? But while that's going on, you get back to Night Owl's old base of operations that Rorschach and Ozymandias have commandeered, and you find out the whole thing with them taking his ship was to turn into some type of dimensional time machine, and they crash land in Gotham, which is pretty cool because while that happens, there's a edit, and they kind of go over to this whole situation where I think in one of the issues when Rorschach has his psychiatrist when he's in prison show him, what do you see with these Rorschach ink blots? And Bruce is basically just cracking jokes. He's like, I see a boat. He's like, I see a speedboat. I see a yacht. I see all these things. He's like, look, man, I got things to do and you're wasting my time. And in there you have, he leaves and him and Lucius Fox are having this conversation about, I have to protect Gotham. And Lucius is like, look, man, they don't want Batman. They hate Batman. And he's like, no, they need Batman. He's like, man, there's a mob outside of the building right now. I don't know if you see this, but they have like pitchforks. They have like all this type of stuff. It's an angry mob that says no more Batman. Once again, I gotta say the art's it's amazing. It's really good. But he says, like, look, Bruce, LexCorp is like gonna buy the company and they'll know your secrets. They'll know everything. So, Bruce/Batman's kind of in an awkward position. But one of the things I like to notice here is that I know a lot of people were saying, where does this fit in the whole Rebirth timeline? I know a lot of people have been talking about it, and I think I'm starting to see where people are coming from. I really do think that this takes place a year after Rebirth, or at least some undisclosed time. It just, the way everything fits in, I mean, when you had the whole thing with Dr. Manhattan, I think, or there's an Easter egg with Dr. Manhattan showing up in the Button storyline, or even like some of the Superman storylines with his dad, Jor-El, being alive. Spoilers, but the comic came out like a couple months ago. But while this is going on, they crash land in Gotham, Rorschach and Ozymandias, and they leave. This is kind of messed up. They handcuff the mime and Marionette inside the ship. It's like, hey, we need your guys' help, but y'all so unpredictable, we don't want to risk it. So we're just going to leave y'all in here. We'll be back in like a day or so. So while they leave, they decide to split up and talk to two of the smartest men in the world. So they address that Bruce Wayne is one of the smartest men in the world, which is interesting. Yeah, they do state that. It's kind of crazy, because you would think maybe a couple other people would be the smartest, but they say the two smartest people on this planet. So I don't know, that's kind of weird. You would think there'd be a couple other characters maybe smarter than him, but hey, that's what the story says. So let's just go ahead and go with that. So they decide to split up, and Rorschach goes to find Bruce Wayne, who he doesn't know is Batman, and then Ozymandias goes to find and talk to Lex Luthor. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Let's see what Lex Luthor has to say. I mean, Lex Luthor probably would just take him out without a single thought. But Rorschach breaks into Wayne Manor, and once again, this whole ongoing thing. I don't know what's up with pancakes. What's the fascination with Geoff John's interest in pancakes? But he goes and he steals Bruce Wayne's breakfast. Like, he eats his pancakes. Like, it's like, how do you break into somebody's house and eat their food, man? That's just so rude. But while this is going on, it really shows Rorschach's detective skills of him breaking in and finding where the Batcave is. And while that goes on, it's kind of put in the same time while the mime and Marionette are trying to break out of the ship. So it kind of has like these three plot points or subplots going on at the same time. And it's really done in a way like alternates between pages with the interesting 9-panel layout, even though it kind of breaks away from that from time to time. And it keeps things interesting from getting too slow. It really makes the pace really fast. And it makes it really easy to read, so you're not stuck on like one thing. So it's pretty consistent throughout the whole book. But while this is going on, Ozymandias and Lex Luthor are talking to each other. And he's like, hey, you're the smartest man on this world. I'm the smartest man on my earth. Hey, there's some things about to go down. You need to listen. And Lex is like, okay, I guess I'll humor you. And while that's going on, when he starts saying, "Oh yeah, I was trying to unite my planet, save my planet by massacring millions of people with this weird squid alien fish thing," and Lex just looks at him and is like, "That's pretty nuts, man. You're that's crazy, even for me." And he says, "Well, whether you believe that or not, or whatever you think about it, it doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is, I need your help, and you gotta listen to what I've got to say, because there's some things about to hit the fan, and we need each other's help." But while that's going on, you have just the Question walking around observing the Batcave. And there's a moment in there, like I mentioned before, Rorschach shoots Lex Luthor. And I'm trying to wrap my mind around that. I flipped through this comic, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. I'm like, how is that possible? The only explanation there can be is that Dr. Manhattan did something, or maybe he's able to reassemble his atoms and reform. I don't know what it is, but I'm interested, but I'm kind of nervous to see how Geoff Johns writes his way out of this one. But there's kind of this interesting moment where you have these 3 panels, and Batman's just like, "You ate my breakfast," and the Question's like, "Yeah, I did. I'm guilty. I ate your breakfast." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So he's not asking who you are. He's not asking what you're doing in the Batcave. Not how you found the Batcave. Not how he doesn't care about. He's like, "You ate my breakfast." That was an interesting little bit of humor. But also you see in one of the panels, and this is my first time actually catching on this, they find a way to Mime and Marionette find a way to escape from the Night Owl ship, which brings into question, how is the Mime able to make these imaginary items and get away with it? He says he has a lockpick, but there is no lockpick, but he figures out a way to escape. So that's interesting. Hopefully they explain that later on. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And I'm also really excited to see what's going on with Marvel. I kind of skimmed through, I think it was, Phoenix Resurrection comic. I gotta be honest, I really don't care about that. I really don't care about this event. Hopefully it works itself out. I kind of skimmed through and I was like, it's not for me. Hopefully I really don't care about Jean Grey coming back, because she's died so many times. It's like, what's the big deal? I mean, this has happened she's died and come back 7 or 8 times already. But yeah, I really want to check out that 2-in-1, Marvel 2-in-1. See how that's about. And maybe we'll get the Fantastic Four again. I would love to have Jonathan Hickman come back and write it, but I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe.